Start.
Everly Share That Word podcast coming your way. This is number 374, guys. So our steroid series continues. Stevesmi here and the Rickster in the house.
Hey, what's up, Steve? What's up, guys? How's everybody doing out there?
Good, good. All right, guys. So our steroid series continues, guys, where we classify steroids. The next steroid classification we're going to talk about is newbie steroids. So these are steroids that newbies, we recommend newbies mess with. They're going to be more mild. They're going to be more safe. There's going to be less room for error. And having said that, my opinion, guys, there is no safe steroid. Anabolic steroids are serious business. They're very, very strong hormones. They do a lot of things in the body. Okay. They do a lot of things in the body. So you really need to be careful when you use steroids. They're going to shut you down. So you must make sure you run the proper ancillaries, you run your liver support, you run your kidney support, you run a PCT, and then that can make a much smoother situation for you. And also, in my opinion, you should be closer to 30 years old before you touch steroids. Some guys say over 21, some guys say over 25. I say closer to 30 because that's when you're really more mature. You put in the years and you're ready for steroids. So that is my opinion. Of course, you've got guys these days in a much higher percentage that are using steroids at a much younger age. There's guys in their even late teens that are using steroids. So not really a smart idea, guys. So steroids are definitely serious business no matter what.
Yeah, 5 to 8 years of natural training you want before you start messing with steroids. And natural training doesn't just mean having a gym membership for 6 months out of the year. Natural training means that you're going in there, you're trying to figure this out, you're trying to figure out different training methods, different diet programs, have done some over-the-counter supplements, some herbs, some creatine. You've hit some plateaus, bust through the plateaus by changing up your training regimen, hit another plateau, bust through that plateau, changing up some of your diet stuff with more training. You know, this is like you've really been at it, making progress, trying to figure it out for 5 to 8 years before you touch the sauce. And if you do that, then those steroid gains are going to be the first 3 cycles, you get some permanent pounds and you'll be good. You'll take full advantage of what those steroids can do for you once you've spent enough time experimenting on yourself to have everything else figured out. That's the main goal. That's what we mean. Now, does that need to happen when you're 30 or not? Ideally, it would happen after 25, around 30. You know, and if you were like me that started lifting weights at 13, you would still wait until you're well over 25, 30 to hit the sauce. But if you didn't, if you do it younger, earlier on, at least 5 to 8 years of natural, hard training where you're taking your body to the limit, sports through high school, weightlifting in the off season, weightlifting on days off, after school, during college, is just active. And then, you know, when you're an adult, mid-20s, and you've got 5 to 8 years of natural weight training under your belt, then you hit that shit. Then you hit the sauce. But it's a good way to get started on this one.
Yeah, and I'd actually argue, someone argued this with me. They're like, oh, I've been training for 5 years. I'm 18. And I was like, how have you been training 5 years? Like, oh, I started training at 13. I said, no. When you become an adult, then you start counting the years you've been training. When do you become an adult? I guess legally 18, you're an adult, but really 21. I mean, you can't even go on a cruise without someone older than that at that age. You can't rent a car at that age. You know how? So really, technically, in my mind, you're not an adult. There's a reason you can't rent a car at that age. It's because the insurance company can't insure you. The rental car insurance company won't want you driving their cars because you don't have the experience, the life experiences. The same thing with steroids. So it's very important that you wait as long as possible before you run steroids. But without further ado, guys, we're going to talk about the 4 steroids that we came up with, Rick and I came up with, that are good newbie steroids. The first one is going to be Anavar. Now, Anavar is a good one for both females and males. Anavar is mild. It doesn't have androgenic side effects, very, very little. It is a little tough on the liver, as most all anabolic steroids are. It is liver toxic because it is 17 alpha alkylated. So you need to be careful of your liver. If you have existing liver issues, you really need to monitor your blood work like a hawk. And you want to run the N2 the liver support with it. But Anavar, at the end of the day, you could run as a male 40, 50 milligrams a day of VAR. As a female, you can run anywhere from 5 to 15 milligrams a day of the VAR. And you get nice, mild results. And it's not going to give you a tremendous amount of side effects. As a male, it's still going to shut you down. All anabolic steroids do. So you will need a PCT with it. But it's not going to cause other issues. It's not going to cause estrogenic side effects. It's not going to cause androgenic side effects, too many androgenic side effects. And even though it's a DHT derivative, it's not going to cause a tremendous amount of DHT side effects because of the way it's structurally made. So in our review, Anavar is a good one. You could run just Anavar by itself for 5 or 6 weeks and get really good mild results as a first cycle, as a newbie. The drawback to Anavar is it's very expensive. So you want to keep that in mind. If you are using it, it's going to cost you some money. It's going to be 3 or 4 times more expensive than T-Bol, which is a very similar steroid and also in my mind, a good newbie steroid. So that's kind of an honorable mention. We'll give T-Bol an honorable mention. We're not going to discuss T-Bol in length, but we're going to give an honorable mention. But I've run Anavar before. Very, very mild. Didn't notice any side effects on it. And, I was happy with it. It's a really cool steroid, but you want to make sure with Anavar, this is a big one, especially for females. You want to make sure you get legit Anavar. If you get fake Anavar and it's something else, that can really screw you up. So those of you out there who've run Anavar and you're shaking your head right now, both male and female, you're shaking your head. You're like, Steve, this stuff had side effects. It screwed me up. You most likely, I'm 99% certain, did not run legit Anavar because Anavar is very widely fake. So in that respect, it may not be a good newbie steroid because it's hard to find legit Anavar. But if you can find legit Anavar, it's a very, very good newbie steroid. Tell us your thoughts, Rick, on Anavar.
Anavar is just steroid on training wheels. You don't need an anti-estrogen with it. You don't have to worry about hair loss. You don't have to worry about much with it. You are going to get some suppression, and it is going to wreck your lipid profile, your cholesterol. Over time, it will wreck it. It does have some good static effects and some good long-lasting muscle effects as well. You don't have to worry about taking anti-estrogen with it or finasteride or your prostate. I mean, you don't have to worry about much with it. It's a great newbie steroid. I would definitely think it should be the first cycle for many people. Also, it's the only steroid any women should be taking at all. It's a nice, solid, very low side effect, very mild steroid. I like it. I vote, thumbs up on it, especially for newbies. Especially for noobs, it could maybe should be the second or third cycle for anybody. The first one being testosterone, obviously, in my opinion, for newbies. But yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say about Anavar, man. Good steroid. And it is mild, but if you're talking about someone that's never used androgens before and those androgen receptors are nice and clear, they'll be really happy with the results they get from it.
All right, guys. So the second one we're going to talk about today is Primobolan. Now, Primobolan, I have to echo right off the bat also what we said about Anavar, Rick, in that Primobolan, if you've ever run Primobolan, both as a male and female, and you got side effects on Primobolan, I can 99% guarantee you that you got fake Primobolan because it's another heavily fake steroid. These steroids are expensive, okay? So sources you know, you can blame them or not, but at the end of the day, they are trying to save money. So they may use a poor supplier or a poor raw supplier, and they end up producing really bad Primobolan. And it's end up something else. It could be Deca, it could be Test, it could be you know, anything, anything. They could put in anything instead of Primo just to save a buck. And then you're going to start noticing side effects. And you're like, why am I getting gynecomastia on Primo? It doesn't make any sense. Primo does not produce androgenic or estrogenic side effects. So your blood pressure won't skyrocket on Primo. Your heart health won't go to shit on Primo. Your cholesterol won't go so bad on Primo. You shouldn't get gynecomastia on Primo. You can't get gynecomastia on Primo. It doesn't aromatize. You should not get bloat. You should not get water retention. You should not get insomnia. All these side effects, acne, you should not get that. And even though it's a DHT derivative, just like Anavar, you shouldn't get DHT side effects because the way it's structurally made, you shouldn't get prostate problems. You shouldn't lose your head hair on it. Maybe a little, but not to the extent of some of these other steroids. So if any of that stuff is happening, you're very likely getting fake Primo. So it's very important to find a legit source for Primo and get the real stuff. And again, just like Anavar, it is really expensive to find legit Primo. And Rick, even in your situation, if you're overseas, you're not going to find Primo because it's not available. Very, very common. Even in countries where steroids are legal, you're still going to end up with fake Primo because it's going to be hard to find legit Primo even in those countries. So, it's a tough one. It's a tough one to get. But at the end of the day, if you find legit Primo, guys, as a male, 400 or 500 milligrams a week. As a female, 50 milligrams a week. It should not give you side effects, and it should be it's a safe steroid just to run as a male. Literally, you can run it by itself for 10 or 12 weeks and get good results, good clean results. Primobolan was the one that Arnold loved back in the day in the 70s. It was said that he ran about 500, 600, 700 milligrams a week of Primo. That was his favorite steroid to run. So, it's a really, really good steroid, but it's not going to blow you up like some of these other steroids. When we talked about the strength steroids, the bulking steroids in the previous podcast, that is not what Primo does. So if you want to gain 10, 15 pounds on a cycle and add 30 pounds to your bench, it's not going to happen on Primo. It's not going to happen. And a lot of guys don't get it. A lot of guys don't get that concept. They think, oh, Primo's a waste of money because I'm not getting results on it. It's not that it's a waste of money. It's that it doesn't do what these other steroids do. It's more of a steroid that you run. It's quality gains. It's lean muscle gains. The gains that you get on Primo are quality gains. It's legit gains. So, in my opinions, because it's so mild, it's a pretty good newbie steroid. What do you think, Rick?
Very mild, very side effect free, very hard to get good legitimate versions of it. You do need a high enough amount to see some results, but man, does it work great in a caloric deficit. Man, does it help you build that lean mass that you can keep for weeks and weeks and months, maybe years. Good steroid, like Steve said, doesn't aromatize, no need for an NTE. It can knock a little bit of hair out, mainly on any females that mess with it. But on guys, most guys will be okay with it with as far as the hair goes. It's just a good all-around steroid, hard to get legitimate versions of, but if you can find it, if you can get it, you'll be really happy, man. It's the way to go with it.
All right, buddy. So I'm going to let you take the next one because you're a big fan. Equipoise. That's one of your favorites. Tell the listeners about why you think it's a good newbie one.
EQ's a nice steroid. It does aromatize, but doesn't cause the estrogen issues that you see out of things like Dianabol, some of these other steroids. The worst side effect I've ever gotten on EQ was just a little bit of back acne. It is longer lasting. So if you were having some trouble with it, you're going to be in for a long ride until it leaves your system, because it could be 4 to 6 weeks before it does. It's just very mild. I don't find myself needing anti-estrogen unless I go about 400 or 500 mgs a week. I don't see it doing anything detrimental as far as estrogen goes. It's just a really good all around, very simple, very cheap steroid, easy to find. Unlike Primobolan, that's very hard to find legitimate versions of. Unlike Anavar, that's widely faked by sources. EQ is just a great steroid that's very easy to find good versions of. You can pay a little bit of more money than going from underground and go to a veterinarian labs and buy it from a vet lab that actually is overseen by some governing body. That stuff works great. Isn't enough I can say about it, man. It just works great, works all around. If you do get a little bit of estrogen side effect from it, from running a little bit high, aromacin works great. Arimistane works great. Just use either of those. Arimistane being over the counter, and you'll be side effect free in a day or two. Just a really good steroid for all around use, and I think it's a great newbie steroid. Not a lot to worry about, not a lot of side effects to be concerned about. It's all pretty straightforward. Maybe keep a little bottle of anti-estrogen in your drawer and pull that out whenever you have an issue. That's about it.
Yeah, nice thing about EQ, if you're an active person, this is the one steroid that you can actually run. As a newbie who likes to do a lot of outdoor stuff, you like to mountain bike, you like to hike, you like to take the dog for long walks, you like to go swimming. You like to, do a lot of do some hot yoga, Bikram yoga, very, very, very cardiovascular. You like to jog, you like to run, all this stuff. This is a good one for you because the EQ won't mess with your cardio. It'll actually benefit your cardio because it'll raise your red blood cell count. So you'll be getting more oxygen through your blood, but it's not going to give you the side effects. It's not going to give you the pumps. It's not going to give you the strain on the heart. It's not going to give you the strain on the liver as much, a strain on the kidneys as much. Very, very mild steroid. So if you're a newbie who likes to do a lot of active activities, this one is a good one for you. This is for you guys. The EQ is definitely for you. And I'd run somewhere between 300 and 500 milligrams a week. You can run it solo, or you can run it with a little test. It's up to you. But nothing wrong with running it solo. And it's a really good one. If you run it by itself, you most likely in 90% of situations, 95% of situations, you won't even need an AI because it aromatizes a very, very slow pace. So the estrogen that does get aromatized in the body is such a slow rate that it will get kicked right back out. So, it's a good one for sure for if you're a newbie. So the fourth one we're going to talk about is straight testosterone. And testosterone, guys, is the most commonly run anabolic steroid. Even if you're a vet, even vets, they'll run a TRT dose in a cycle. They run 500 milligrams a cycle. Some guys even run more, 1,000 in a cycle. They're at higher levels. And testosterone is both androgenic and estrogenic. So it is going to come with a lot of side effects. But again, like I said at the beginning, when you run anabolic steroids, they are all serious side effects. Yes, they come with serious side effects. They shut you down, including testosterone. Yes, testosterone will shut you down. That's how it works. So if you're going to make the decision to use anabolic steroids and you say, you know what, I'm going to run the standard 500 milligram a week testosterone cycle, you have to remember that this is a serious decision. Testosterone will shut you down and shut you down hard. It will, because it's going to signal your pituitary glands to stop producing its own hormones. So you need to be prepared when you're running testosterone. You need to have your N2 guard on cycle. You need to have your aromatase inhibitor, the Aromacin or Arimidex, on hand. You need to be running it from day one, most of you. You need to have a PCT in place. And you need to be running blood work before and after cycle to make sure everything is going good. You may even have to run blood work on cycle to make sure that you are controlling your estrogen as you should. If you run testosterone blindly and you don't do anything properly, you can end up at the end being fitted for a bra because you're going to get gynecomastia. You could at the end be put on like 10, 15, 20 pounds of water. You'd be like a bloated fish. You could end up seriously damaging your skin from acne. You could seriously damage your heart because you strain your heart. There's a lot of things that can go wrong by not running testosterone correctly. So don't think, oh yeah, it's testosterone. Everyone runs testosterone. It's an easy cycle. I don't have to really do anything. I just run 500 milligrams of testosterone. No, it's a serious cycle. So, but this is the most cookie cutter first cycle out there, Rick, is 500 milligrams of testosterone a week using either NF8 or cypionate, which are long esters. That's the most cookie cutter cycle that we see guys recommend on the forums. But the ironic thing is, it is a harsh cycle, but people don't understand that and they get themselves into trouble. So, yeah, be careful and be smart. Rick, anything you want to add?
Testosterone is the hormone that we've had in our body since we were born. It's very predictable. We know what it's going to do. We already know what drugs to use with it. If you use a low enough amount, you won't need any other drugs. Your body will receive it and utilize it just fine. I mean, testosterone is the truth. I think everybody's first cycle should be 200 mg of testosterone a week, just to get your feet wet, just to get started. That alone, obviously, with hard natural training, good, just keeping an eye on your body and the way it reacts to everything, and just knowing what you need to be taking. I mean, testosterone is the original steroid. It's the truth. I mean, it's the one I definitely would use as a newbie just to get started. Perfect little steroid.
All right, guys. So that pretty much sums it up for newbie steroids, guys. We're going to have a new class of steroids coming next week. We'll keep it going. For Stevesmi and Rick, this has been another episode, number 374. We will talk to you guys next week. Have a good one.
Have a good one, Steve. Have a good one, guys.
Guys, this is the required legal disclaimer. We are only sharing our experience from years of steroid use. We are not doctors, and none of what we say should be regarded as medical advice. Always check with your doctor before taking any drugs or starting any training program.